Before we begin, if you like what you hear on the Tan and J-Man Show, don't forget to rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, and go ahead and click subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. We encourage you to interact with us and keep up to date with the Tan and J-Man Show on social media by liking our Facebook page and following us on Twitter and Instagram at Tan and J-Man Show. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy another episode of the Tan and J-Man Show with your hosts Tanner Lee and Josh the J-Man Munt. Oh, welcome back to another episode of the Tan and J-Man Show.
Okay, Mad Dog.
Oh, you just ruined that. That just, never doing that again.
You're welcome.
Episode 203. Tanner Lee, Josh the J-Man Munt. What is up, J-Man?
Feeling pretty good today.
Feeling pretty good?
Pretty good.
Dolphins hung in there yesterday.
Yeah, they did. Played okay. Can't really complain about their effort.
Cubs are out.
I can complain about their effort.
I'm sure you will in a little bit.
Pathetic.
That gif of that fan a few years ago. But you know what's not pathetic, and what restaurant gives good effort all the time?
I'm going to say the damn landing.
You are a smart person today.
Just today.
That's the damn landing. Whether you want an epic burger, hand-tossed pizza, hand-breaded tenderloin, seafood, craft beer, or a handcrafted cocktail, the damn landing is the place to be. The damn landing is a bar and grill located on beautiful Lake Manitou that focuses on freshness and quality. Of course, you got the damn smoke, so you got barbecue, especially the ribs. You got steaks, meats, and more meats pretty much
Big
on
fan
the weekends. And you can also wash that down with one of their 16 beers on tap, including a constant rotation of today's best micro brews and domestic flavors, or a handcrafted cocktail made using fresh ingredients. Taking the fantastic views of Lake Manitou on their beer garden or outdoor bar area, whether it be by boats, a little cold for a boat right now, or by
Not
wheels.
the rest of the week.
Not the rest of the week. The Damn Landing is the place to be, located at 1305 Ewing Road in Rochester. I ate there last week, Wednesday night. Had a buffalo chicken wrap.
Sounds.
It's pretty good.
Bomb.
It's pretty good.
Bomb.
You about did your pretty good thing again.
Pretty good.
But like always, we are thankful they're the sponsor of the Tan and J-Man Show.
Are you ready to get quizzed?
I'm Lance Stevenson. I was born ready.
Russell Wilson is now the second quarterback in NFL history with at least 30,000 career passing yards and 4,000 career rushing yards. Can you name this quarterback? Want to repeat. Russell Wilson is now the second quarterback in the history of the NFL with at least 30,000 career passing yards and 4,000 career rushing yards. Who is the other quarterback?
I got a pretty good guess.
I think you have a decent shot at getting this one. But Birdie Bogey is brought to you by the Noble Gnome LLC. Fresh, locally grown, nutrient-dense produce from Bryce and Katie Romine of Mentone, Indiana. Like them on Facebook, follow them on Instagram, and check out their website, noblegnomellc.com. You know what that means. Get your veggies.
Yes, sir. Need to put that on a t-shirt.
Make girl be big and strong like the J-Man.
Speaking of t-shirts, our promo code is good through this week until Sunday, October 11th. If you want free shipping on most items on the Tan and J-Man Show store, go find our link, which is on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. It's in the link on our bios. Click that link. Click Tan and J-Man Show store. Get yourself some Tan and J-Man Show merch. And the promo code is capital T, capital and capital J. So it is free shipping on most orders. And I apologize. Last week I said on all orders. How the site's set up, there's a few items that won't do free shipping.
If you don't want to click a link on one of our social media things, go to
Platforms,
thank you. Go to teespring.com/stores/tan-and-j-man-store. Screwed that up. Start over again. I'm just kidding. tan-and-j-man-show-store. Get some stuff.
Or just go to a link in a bio.
Or just go to a link in the bio, because that's a lot easier.
Yeah.
They don't call me Mr. Confuses people.
But if you'd like to get yourself a new T-shirt, short sleeve, long sleeve, zip-up hoodie, pullover hoodie, shirt for your kid or your baby, some stickers,
what the whole debate?
Face mask, whatever, support the show. We'd really appreciate it and look good doing it. So, are you ready for some sporting events that have happened on October 5th?
I was born ready.
You can't take my line. All right, let's see what we got here. On this day, 1915, Detroit Tigers speedster Ty Cobb stole his 96th base of the season in a 5-0 loss to the Cleveland Indians. That stood as the MLB record until 1962. Do you know who broke it?
I'm going to go with Lou Brock.
1962? Did he play this? Was he that old? No, but it wasn't not Lou. It was Murray Wills.
Oh, Maury Wills?
Maury Wills.
Maury.
I
don't know.
Maury. He had 104.
Well, Lou Brock played from 61 to 79, so he's technically
I did not know
there.
he was that old.
Yeah, he wouldn't have been as good then in 62. He was still a Cub in 62. He only had 16 steals.
On this day in 1932, with new ownership, the Detroit Falcons officially changed their name to the Detroit Red Wings.
Oh.
And the winged wheel is introduced. Previous names were the Cougars from 1926 to 1930 and the Falcons from 1930 to 1932. I did not know that.
Neither.
What else we got? On this day in 1950, Boston Celtics owner Walter Brown and coach Red Auerbach drew lots out of a hat for three members of the Chicago Stags franchise, and they hit the jackpot with future six-time NBA champion Bob Cousy.
Bob Cousy, pretty good.
Yeah. A lot of old...
I see Yogi Berra on there.
Yeah. On this day in 1953, the 50th Baseball World Series was played. The New York Yankees beat the Brooklyn Dodgers 4-3 in Game 6 for a 4-2 series win. New York's second baseman Billy Martin's 12 hit sets the World Series record. Yankees win fifth consecutive World Series.
They cleaned up back then.
And you saw Yogi Berra. It was on this day in 1956. Catcher Yogi Berra became the fourth New York Yankee to hit a Baseball World Series Grand Slam in Game 2 at Ebbets Field in Brooklyn. The Dodgers won 13-8, but lost the series 4-3. A lot of NHL All-Star Game stuff from back in the day. That's kind of weird.
In October, huh?
Yeah. On this day in 1976, the MLB expansion draft happened. The Seattle Mariners and Toronto Blue Jays picked 30 unprotected AL players. Rupert Jones, outfielder of Seattle, and Bob Baylor, outfielder for Toronto, were the first picks.
Never heard of either.
Wow. On this day in 1991, Fresno State ties an NCAA football record with 49 points in a quarter.
Who did?
Fresno State. It was in the second quarter. I think that's when Dilfer was their quarterback.
91.
They routed New Mexico by a score 94-17. Wow. On this day in 1996, the Cleveland Indians struck out 23 Baltimore Orioles in 12 innings in a 4-3 ALDS win at Jacobs Field. The Orioles would win the series 3-1. On this day in 1996, New York center fielder Bernie Williams homered from each side of the plate as the Yankees beat the Texas Rangers 6-4 to win the AL Divisional Series 3-1.
Trent Dilfer was a quarterback, but he wasn't the quarterback.
No. I figured he was.
They scored 94. They don't have a box score, unfortunately, because I really wanted to see that box score. But Dilfer that year threw 2 touchdowns and 3 interceptions, so he was kind of the backup.
On this day in 2001, Barry Bonds hit his 71st and 72nd home runs in an 11-10 loss versus the LA Dodgers at Pacific Bell Park, breaking Mark McGwire's MLB single-season home run record. Also on this day in 2001, the MLB's Atlanta Braves became the first pro sports team to win 10 straight division titles after they smoked the Marlins 20-3 to clinch the NL East title. The NBA's Boston Celtics did it from 1957 to 65, and the Lakers 1982 to 1990. Both of them, of course, those were 9 in a row. On this day in 2002, for the first time in its 42-year-old history, the Anaheim Angels won a postseason series when they beat the Yankees 9-5 to take the ALDS 3-1, ending the Yankees' quest to make 5 straight World Series appearances.
Angels went on to win that World Series, Game 7 against the San Francisco Giants.
On this day in 2003, Kansas City wide receiver Dante Hall, remember him? Mr. X?
I saw a highlight video of him yesterday against Denver.
He scored on a game-winning 93-yard punt return in the Chiefs' 24-23 victory versus the Denver Broncos at Arrowhead Stadium.
That was not it. This was one where he did like 6 jukes and just took off.
Our good friend Jeff Ryan was at that game.
Oh.
But his return in this game it was his 4th straight game with a return, NFL record. He was kind of Devin Hester before Devin Hester.
I was going to say, I remember Dante Hall being like the dude, and then Hester took over. And Hester did what he did, of course.
On this day in 2003 as well, the Chicago Cubs won their first MLB postseason series since the 1908 World Series.
That's true.
With a 5-1 win versus the Atlanta Braves in Game 5 of the NLDS at Turner Field.
Yeah,
wow.
they went 95 years without winning a postseason series.
I did not know that.
Yep.
That is astonishing. On this day in 2004, 7-time All-Star and 6-time World Champion forward Scottie Pippen announced his retirement from the NBA and the Chicago Bulls.
Lost a lot of respect for him during the Last Dance documentary.
Yep. On this day in 2005, NHL great, the great one, Wayne Gretzky made his coaching debut for the Phoenix Coyotes in a 3-2 loss to the Vancouver Canucks at Rogers Arena.
His coaching career go very well?
No. Like a lot of legends.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to do it for the On This Day segment. I had quite a bit this week. And the On This Day segment is brought to you by Proforma Print House. If you're looking for a trustworthy, dependable resource for your next trade show, company picnic, or sales meeting, Proforma Print House has over 50 years combined experience in promotional products and commercial print. They strive for fast and efficient response to all your print needs. You need to look no further. Let them be your one-source print promotional company. Give them a call today at 574-210-3815.
Nice. As we mentioned earlier, the Major League Baseball playoffs are underway, and the 4 National League Central teams all put out of the postseason. I think I said last week that just showed the flaws in this expanded playoff, that 4 National League Central teams made it, and I said I don't think any of them are any good. And that kind of proved true. The NL Central went a combined 1-8 and were outscored 39-19 while getting shut out 5 times. All 4 teams were shut out in the game in which they were eliminated. It's just spectacularly bad.
They were embarrassing across the
Absolutely
board.
Embarrassing. The Reds didn't score for 22 innings. They didn't score in the 2 games. 22 innings straight, not scoring. Cubs scored 1 run against the worst playoff team in the history of sports.
The Reds, man, their fans, they get so excited when they make the playoffs, and then they just find brutal ways to lose their first-round matchups.
How many opportunities did they have Game 1 in extra innings? They had guys on third with less than 2 outs a bunch.
They had bases loaded one time with 0 or 1
I want to
outs.
say nobody out twice in that same game.
I text our good friend Andrew Eiler. It's like, if they don't score here,
It's over. They're
not going to score.
No. They had so many opportunities, and the Braves, I don't know if the Braves found a way to win. I think the Reds just found a way to lose. But as for the Cubs, it all culminated into this one just spectacularly bad playoff performance against, as I said, one of the worst playoff teams in the history of sports. If the Marlins were to have played a full 162-game season, they'd likely be picking in the top 10 in the draft next year. That's how just their lineup's not good. Cubs haven't won a playoff game in 3 years. That's just a colossal failure by the players, for one. Front office is another to blame, and the Ricketts family for going cheap. They just haven't done anything to improve. They thought, we're just going to go status quo, give them one more shot at it with this core, and it just backfired. The offense broke in 2018. Theo Epstein did nothing to fix it. He has 1 year left on his deal, and he's meeting with ownership tonight to discuss his exit strategy. He will not be back after next year. That's pretty much a given. He even mentioned as much in his introductory press conference to the Cubs in 2011, saying, 10 years is a long time, perfect amount of time. After that, need a new voice in there. So I think he will actually not even be there next year. I think they'll just kind of cut ties now. Instead of having a lame duck GM, president of baseball ops, whatever. Now, the reason why I think he could stay is he wants one more shot at getting another ring for the Cubs. Plus, I don't see any way that Jed Hoyer is not promoted to president of baseball ops. He's the Cubs general manager right now. So Theo's going to do everything in his power to help his friend Jed there. It's time for a new voice at the top because it hasn't been a failure of a rebuild because they accomplished what they needed to do, and that was win a World Series. Went to 3 straight National League Championship Series, 15 through 17.
This is going to sound like a weird question. Looking back on it, do you think it was almost a bad thing that they seceded ahead of schedule in the long term?
Long term, I think 16 covered up a lot of bad from the past 3 years. Just saying, well, they won in 16. Let's give them another shot. These players, I think a lot of them peaked early. Chris Bryant hasn't been as good as he was in 16. Kyle Schwarber's got progressively worse. Rizzo's been pretty consistent. Javier Baez was really bad this year. Everyone had a worse year than they had previously. I think a lot of those players peaked in 17 or 16, and I know the pitching staff got older. It's not a bad thing because they ultimately did what they needed to do.
Exactly.
World Series.
That's why it was a weird question,
but it does make the last 3 years feel so much worse.
It seemed like it set some expectations.
Right, that we're going to compete every single year. And for the most part, they have competed every single year. They had that choke job last year where they were up, I want to say 3.5, 5 games entering September. Don't even make the playoffs. 18, they're up 5 games with like 20 left, and Brewers got hot. Cubs get knocked out in the wild card game, and then this one just all came together, and it's time to – I'll talk about this in a few weeks when the season's completely over, what I think they need to do. It'll be an interesting offseason just because who knows what money-wise, with COVID, with no fans, anything, what teams will be able to do. But it's time to break up this supposed core they have. Everyone, Javi Baez, Chris Bryant, Anthony Rizzo, all free agents after next year. Rizzo has a $16.5 million team option this year. I imagine they'll pick it up. It's kind of a no-brainer. But then you look at guys like Schwarber. Could he even be non-tendered after having such a bad year? He has no trade value left. Chris Bryant was so bad this year that he doesn't have any trade value right now. Now, could a team jump at him and say, we're going to try to buy low on him? And Cubs aren't going to sell low on him. They're going to keep him, and I think it's more likely they make more moves at the trade deadline next year than they do this offseason. I'll talk about this later on, but it was just a colossal disappointment of a season. They were 10 games over 500 after their first 16 games, and the final 44 games of the year, they were 2 games under.
Give me an evaluation, and I know it's tough with a 60-game season of David Ross's first year as manager because I think it's going to be real interesting next year, assuming they play a full schedule. I don't know, from outside looking at it, maybe the pressure's kind of already on a little bit. Maybe not.
I don't know.
But especially, I guess it depends what happens with the front office, too. Ross,
I think, did a great job with the roster of just being, we're going to grind, get back to that kind of mentality of because under Madden it seemed like they were almost too loose a lot of times and they'd struggle early in games. I think culture-wise, David Ross doing a great job. In game, he did not do a good job, and it was really exacerbated in the postseason. He left Kyle Hendricks in 1 inning too long, and he gave up 3-run homer to Corey Dickerson in the 7th inning. It was clear like 2 innings earlier in that game 1 that Hendricks was done, but he left him in, and it backfired on him. He wasn't great with his bullpen usage. His lineups weren't great, but I think that'll just come along with experience. And I think he'll ultimately be the guy going forward. If they were to struggle next year, who knows? 2 years is a real short time, especially in baseball. But we'll see. I think he did an okay job for a first-year manager. And I'm sure he'll get Manager of the Year votes just because he's a rookie manager that the team wasn't really expected to compete, which kind of blows my mind because they still had all that talent. And they ended up winning the division for the third time in 5 years. But I think he was just okay this year.
Who do you think wins the series?
So the series, we have one going right now, Houston Astros and the Oakland Athletics. Astros beat the Twins. Twins have lost 18 straight playoff games. That's mind-blowing.
They looked like they were set to make a run at the title this year, and they fell flat on their face.
And they're playing in the bubble at Dodger Stadium. I saw a report today that there's multiple Dodger people that did not want them in their home clubhouse at all. Just nervous that they're going to start cheating again and pick up something. I don't even know what they could pick up in their clubhouse.
Did they evacuate all the trash cans?
Yeah, they should have. But they're currently winning 8-5 in the seventh inning against the Oakland Athletics. Houston's a dangerous team, and I hate it just because I cannot stand them. But I still think even if Houston wins this one, I think Oakland wins in 5. Chicago White Sox were put out by the Oakland Athletics. That was a really interesting series. White Sox a year ahead of schedule as well, but at the same time, you can be excited for the future, but you don't want to take playoff appearance for granted.
No, absolutely, in any sport.
Any sport. But as I said, give me Oakland. Then the Yankees were able to sweep the Cleveland Indians.
And the bats got on fire.
They did hot. I mean, they were down pretty big early in Game 2 and came back.
Yeah, they're down 5-1, but
Gio Urshela
had a grand slam.
Yep, he had a grand slam. They faced the Tampa Bay Rays.
This will be a fun series. These two teams
really
don't like each other.
Don't like each other.
They shouldn't. They're division rivals.
The Rays pitch really, really well. So did the Indians. Yankees hit really, really well. I think Yankees are better set up to win a 3-game and 5-game series than they would a 7.
I agree with that.
So I think Yankees win in 4. I just feel it right now.
No, I like both of those. I actually have the Yankees in 5 and the A's in 5. So,
which would create
I think the A's is more hopeful for me though than anything.
Yeah, especially if they lose Game 1, which they're likely going to. Then the National League, we have the Braves and the upstart Marlins, who
I think the Braves sweep them.
A really good pitching staff, and there's no off days in the NLDS, which helps, I think, a team like the Marlins.
Yeah.
I'm taking the Braves, but I think the Marlins find a way to win one game.
Okay, I'll take a sweep to change it up.
And then we have the Los Angeles This might be the matchup of the postseason.
Sure.
We aren't even to the World Series. Los Angeles Dodgers against San Diego Padres. Dodgers have the pitching and the offense. Padres have great offense. I think Dodgers ultimately get it done in 5. I think not the Marlins, Braves, but I could see the other 3 series going 5.
I'll go Dodgers in 4. But right now, I didn't even put any thought in the 2 NL series. So,
oh well,
I was ready to roll on the spot, I guess.
After the Cubs lose, I kind of lose interest for a few days, but it'll draw me back in eventually.
Understandable.
I will say it's been so difficult to get into playoff baseball with no fans. So those fans are just rocking every single pitch and just not having it. It felt too much like a regular season game.
Yep.
And I think the players is kind of reflective of the players too. Like Freddie Freeman hit a walk-off single on Wednesday against the Reds, and it just looked like a normal regular season walk-off celebration where usually they'd be like tackling him. So it'll be interesting. I think they did say they're planning on having 11,500 for the World Series. They're selling tickets. I think that's going to be at Globe Life Park in Arlington.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah, I was talking with one of my bosses at work today, and we were actually talking about the Super Bowl, how we just can't imagine the Super Bowl not at least trying to get half capacity by February and down in Tampa.
I think they ultimately will have at least. I mean, Tampa's already having 20%.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, you can't not have a crowd that's going to make
some sort of noise,
excitement and noise on TV for the biggest sporting event of the year.
I think the AFC and NFC championships get louder anyways because it's at home parks or home fields, you know.
But depending on where it's at, some might not have fans at all.
Who knows?
It's going to be interesting.
Yep.
Who knows what it will be in a couple months.
Moving on to college football. You watched a bunch, it sounds like. I didn't watch a second of college football, so fill me in, please.
Well, it was a crazy day of upsets. Yeah, the underdogs everywhere. If you're gambling and took the underdogs, you probably did pretty well this weekend.
Do you want any money?
I didn't bet on college football. I did put a $10 parlay on 5 games in NFL yesterday, and it tanked quicker than anything. But that was mainly thanks to the Cardinals. But yeah, the Big 12 is just funny every weekend to me. It's just a circus right now.
Seems like even normal years it's like that too.
Right now, the best team in the Big 12 is Oklahoma State.
And they looked real bad against Tulsa 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago.
But it just seems like, TCU is 0-1 coming into this week, playing Texas, at Texas, find a way to win.
Yep.
But Texas fumbled at the 2-yard line, and Texas was very lucky last week to come back down 14 or 15 with 3 minutes left against Texas Tech. Oklahoma, who already had one loss last week to Kansas State, goes to Ames, which they struggle with Iowa State in normal years anyways. Iowa State beats them at home, giving Oklahoma back-to-back losses for the first time in like forever.
Old Matt Campbell knows how to upset teams, and that's why they're always ranked pretty high, and then they fall back down, but then they're real dangerous come middle of conference season.
I'm always happy when I see Iowa State do good because their defense coordinator, John Haycock, I worked with him a little bit when I was a manager at Purdue. He was on Darrell Hazel's staff for 1 year only. In 2013, he was the defensive backs coach. Then he went to Toledo, was the defense coordinator. Now he's at Iowa State. So good guy. So I like to see him have success. I think it's pretty neat. The Big 12, and then you got good old Kansas against Oklahoma State. There was 1 point in the game. 1 point in the game where Oklahoma State had 500 yards. Kansas had 50.
Not going well for old Les Miles.
Kansas needs to get rid of their football program.
Or drop it down a level like UConn
Even though they did put a bunch of money last year into facilities and made their locker rooms real nice and everything, but oh my, it's just, they are awful. They're beyond awful. I don't even know. Putrid.
They were good like 12 years ago. Went to a BCS game, I believe.
They did have Keith Talib and Chris Harris Jr. as the corners. That helps. But yeah, they beat Missouri in a neutral game at Arrowhead Stadium. Then they went to the BCS.
That was like number 1 against number 2.
It was Chase Daniel versus Todd Reesing.
I remember Todd Reesing.
Yeah, that was a big-time matchup. But
some more upsets over the weekend. Arkansas went into Mississippi State.
Yeah.
New coach there. Don't remember his name. I do know Mississippi State.
He was an O-line coach at Georgia. Pittman, I believe is his last name.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Costello threw a pick 6 first drive, and that kind of was the tone setter.
3 interceptions. Did you know Arkansas's quarterback is Felipe Franks?
That's right.
Who was at Florida. Yep. Tulsa went into Central Florida, knocked them off.
I did not know that.
Talked a little bit about Tulsa almost beating Oklahoma State. That was just their second game this week against Central Florida. They went in there and won 34-26.
Speaking of Florida, Kyle Trask has 10 touchdowns through 2 games.
Yeah, he's looking real good so far.
And you were kind of talking about Tulsa in UCF, probably the same conference. That's what made me think. SMU is the highest-ranked team in the state of Texas, first time since 1986 right now.
They beat Memphis over the weekend.
Yep.
That
was a good game.
That would have been like right after SMU got like the death penalty, or was it before?
I watched that 30 for 30, and I don't remember.
It seems like it was early 80s, but 86 they were.
Yep.
Doesn't seem like they'd be able to.
They're playing good ball right now. Why can I not think who their coach is right now? SMU.
It is.
Is it June Jones?
Yes.
Is it old Hawaii coach?
Yes.
Okay.
I think so. North Carolina State went into Pittsburgh and won.
Those two programs are very similar, if you ask me.
Yeah. Man, why do I not think it's June Jones?
I don't know. Maybe he was there at one time.
He was. Sonny Dykes. That's who it was.
Oh, yeah. Because
Cal.
I was thinking he was already there, but he was at Louisiana Tech before he went to Cal. I got the red and the blue mixed up in my head.
Yeah, Sonny Dykes and June Jones are kind of similar in my. Yeah, June Jones wouldn't be there.
The Irish had an actual bye week this week, so that's 2 weeks in a row they're off. They host Florida State this upcoming week. It's a night game up in South Bend. That's going to be a massacre, I would think. Then Notre Dame next week hosts Louisville, who's a pretty good team. Then they finally go on the road at Pittsburgh the following week. They haven't been on the road yet. They were supposed to at Wake Forest last week, but
they
canceled.
Haven't played in 3 weeks. It'll be 3 weeks. So.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they come out next
Florida
week.
State's looking garbage.
They're real bad.
What happened? They won the title 6 years ago. Was it 6?
They're a basketball school now.
Larry Hamilton knows what the heck he's doing down there, man.
They got too much talent to be struggling. I know Mike Norvell's in his first year, but still.
And he's had COVID, so he hasn't even been able to really be there.
But it's your Canes, man. Huge showdown this week.
Huge!
They're the visitor on game day at number 1 Clemson. But Notre Dame dodged that bowl. They don't have to go against the Canes.
Man, I really wish I could go up and watch them.
But let's pick some top 25 games.
Alrighty.
We're only this Saturday is 2 weeks away from Big Ten.
Yes.
So our Big Ten preview show is getting closer. All right, let's see here. We have Wednesday night. Nope. That game's postponed. Never mind.
No.
It's supposed to be Louisiana Lafayette against Appalachian State, but then it looks like Louisiana Lafayette rescheduled a game. They play Saturday. They're ranked 23rd. They host Coastal Carolina, who beat Kansas week 1.
Give me the first team that's ranked. That they shouldn't be ranked.
The Raging Cajuns.
Yeah, they shouldn't be ranked.
Winning at Iowa State helped them get ranked.
Yeah.
So. Good ACC matchup here. Number 19, Virginia Tech, who's 2-0, who had a heck of a win over the weekend, beating Duke without 21 players.
Yeah. They won their first game without a bunch of players as well.
So they're getting through it right now. They traveled to Chapel Hill to face 2-0, number 8, North Carolina.
Mac Brown, man. Give me Virginia Tech because I'm still mad at Sean May.
That's a good reason. Give me North Carolina. The Red River shootout or rivalry. You got 1-2 Oklahoma against 2-1 number 22 Texas. But Oklahoma's 2.5-point favorites.
They always play that neutral.
Yeah, it's usually in the Cotton Bowl.
I wonder if it is this year.
It is. Cotton Bowl on Fox.
Yep. Give me Texas.
Oklahoma won by a touchdown last year. Man, this is a toss-up. I just don't see Oklahoma losing their third game this early in the season. Give me Oklahoma. Number 4, Florida at number 21, Texas A&M.
Give me Florida.
Jimbo's got to win one of these eventually, though, doesn't he?
Year 3.
Getting paid $100 million.
Yeah, he should probably start winning them now.
And they got killed in Tuscaloosa, but that's understandable. I mean, Alabama looked ridiculous.
When's the last time Alabama's lost a home game?
And A&M's got a good quarterback. Kellen Mund's
I think
rated number 4 right now of the quarterbacks.
He's a big name, but he hasn't played that well at all.
Yeah, he's ranked number 4 for quarterbacks. It goes Lawrence, Fields, Trey Lance, him, and then Birdie from Iowa State.
I've never understood the Kellen Mond love.
But I'm taking Florida as well. Texas Tech, who I think their whole season are in shambles after choking against Texas. They traveled to Ames to face 2-1 Iowa State, who's back in the rankings, ranked 24th.
Give me the Hurricanes. Give me the Cyclones.
I agree. Iowa State. Number 14, Tennessee, travels down between the hedges to take on the number 3 Georgia Bulldogs.
I'm starting to think Tennessee did well with this head coaching hire. He
turned it around quick last year.
Which kind of annoys me that Tennessee fans are happy. You know what I'm saying, though?
Yeah. They're a pretty arrogant bunch.
Yeah, but give me Georgia.
Georgia? Yeah, I agree.
Georgia.
University of Texas San Antonio travels to beat number 15 BYU.
Give me the Mormons.
Yep.
Mormon up.
Give me the Cougars. Arkansas, coming off a big win, 1-1. They travel to face number 13 Auburn, who's also 1-1.
Give me Auburn, just because. I don't really like Bo Nix that much, though.
No? Not Bo Nix guy. Fun little matchup here. Number 2 Alabama travels to Ole Miss. Saban against Kiffin.
That'll be fun. Give me Bama and the boys, though.
Ole Miss did have a good win over the weekend. I'm blanking on who they beat, but they beat Kentucky. They beat Stoops at Kentucky in overtime. But give me Alabama. Your number 7 Miami, Florida Hurricanes at number 1 Clemson.
Give me Clemson by 4 touchdowns.
That would double the spread. Spread's 14.5.
I think the Canes are pretty good, but I don't think any team's really much of a match for Clemson outside of Bama or Ohio State.
Give me Clemson as well. Florida State at number 5, Notre Dame.
Not Notre Dame's fault they haven't played.
I said number 5.
Actually, it kind of is.
I bet they fell actually in the rankings. I don't think this app updates till tomorrow.
You said that with distaste, though. Number 5.
I did.
Give me the Irish.
Yeah. Can you guess the spread? Irish roll easy. But
22.5.
Pretty close. 21.
I think they cover.
And the poor Missouri Tigers. They're 0-2.
They don't call them misery for nothing.
They played Bama and Tennessee. This week they go at LSU.
Give me the Tigers.
Good pick. That's a safe pick.
Not saying which one.
That's a safe pick.
Not saying which one.
Yeah, give me the LSU, the Tigers from the Bayou.
Rawr.
That's all we got for top 25 games this week.
Sticking with football and moving on to the
National Football
League. 3 winners, 3 losers. Who you got?
Oh, I get to go first this week, huh? We going with winners then losers?
Yes, sir.
Got to go with the Cleveland Browns.
They're also one of my winners. They're a quiet 3-1.
They tried to choke that thing away. They're making me very nervous.
Like to come back. 49 points on the road. Jarvis Landry threw a touchdown pass, and he tweeted, "I threw 1 pass yesterday, and my lat feels like I pitched 9 innings."
All right.
Must have hurt.
OBJ's best game in a Browns uniform, 3 touchdowns. You give him some touchdowns, he gets happy. You give Jarvis, let him throw when he's happy. Those two are happy. They're engaged. Cleveland's turned this thing around all of a sudden. After week 1, they looked horrible.
It does help they got to face the Bengals and the Skins, or the football team, sorry.
Yes.
Ooh. But really, really good road win at Dallas, regardless of how Dallas is playing.
Yep.
Another winner, I think, Carolina Panthers.
Yeah.
They're now 2-2, and they've been without Christian McCaffrey.
2-0 without Christian.
For 3.
Isn't that weird?
3. See, did he play the first 2 weeks?
You got hurt week 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Teddy, I mean, he's got DJ Moore to throw to, and Robbie Anderson. Besides that, I couldn't name you a target he has.
Curtis Samuel.
I didn't realize he was there.
He's on my fantasy team. That's the only reason why I know. I don't
but,
start him.
Yeah,
that tells you anything.
I thought this team was going to be, and they still might end up being bad, but Matt Rule so far, I didn't think he'd have 2 wins through 4 weeks.
Must be a good football coach.
He's won everywhere he's been. Temple, Baylor.
Temple was nothing. Got there, turned him around.
Baylor was a dumpster fire after Bryles.
Yeah, he was 1-11 or 0-12 his first year at Baylor. Turned him into a
6
really
games,
good program.
Yep.
So he knows what the heck he's doing. Other winner, Joe Burrow. First rookie quarterback ever with 3 straight 300-yard passing games.
So my other 2 winners, got to think here. I'm going to go Tampa Bay as a winner. They're starting to hit their stride. Tom Brady, he seems like he's accomplished everything he can in a NFL career, but he had an accomplishment yesterday that was a first for him. That's 5 touchdowns of 5 different wide receivers.
Yep.
They're starting to click, which is dangerous for everybody in the NFC. Other winner, who else could I pick as a winner? Oh, how about the Philadelphia Eagles last night on the road? San Fran, a lot of people weren't giving them a chance, though, and they win. And if this playoffs started today, they'd be the NFC East champs.
Which leads me to my losers, the NFC East. Again, for the second straight week, this garbage Eagles team is leading the division at 1-2-1.
Yep.
That division is atrocious.
Yep.
I mean, Redskins and Giants might win.
Football team.
First week I've done this.
Yeah,
too.
it is.
The Washington and the New York Football Giants might win one more.
And the
game.
Giants hung in there against the Rams yesterday.
I think the Rams let them hang in there.
Rams can't put teams away.
NFC East, losers, terrible football division.
Can I tell you who's my number 1 loser?
I bet they're on my list.
Tennessee Titans.
Oh, no. I did have them on my list at one point.
And I know a lot of people, whoa, how can you? It's not the Titans' fault. I'm not so sure it's
It
not
might be their fault.
They're going to investigate for some protocol because the team they played the week prior, Miami Vikings, no positive tests. I don't know. There's something went. There was just too many guys getting positive. Something.
Sorry, I can't believe that. You just called them the Miami Vikings.
Minnesota, I meant. I didn't even realize I said that. Every week I got a blunder somewhere.
Speaking of protocol issues, another one of my losers, Las Vegas Raiders.
Yeah.
Lose to the Buffalo Bills at home. Had a chance to cement themselves as a pretty good team against in my opinion, the second best team in the AFC in the Buffalo Bills. fell flat on their face. They're also being investigated for letting somebody into their locker room. And I saw today Darren Waller and Derek Carr were both fined a hefty amount for not wearing a mask at a charity event.
I wish I could say this all surprised me about that organization, but it doesn't.
It does kind of surprise me about Carr because he seems like somebody that would. I don't know anything really about Waller, but Gruden, absolutely not. Doesn't surprise me at all.
Other loser, Detroit Lions.
Yeah.
Every week they get up 14 and they just...
Matt Patricia's next, I think, on the chopping block. He said after the game that, he had to clean up a bunch of mess here and turn things around. I'm like, they were a lot better with Jim Caldwell than they were with you.
Yeah.
Fat boy with a beard.
Back to the Matt Millen days. He's the GM.
Yeah. Speaking of another loser, although I can maybe put them in the winner category now, Houston Texans. 0-4, but Billy O'Brien, general manager and head coach.
You've been calling that since preseason.
Since the preseason, I didn't think he'd last the entire year.
I think I had the Texans 12-4 to 13-3.
I think I had them winning the division, but the writing was on the wall for O'Brien. He wasn't a very good guy. Never liked him.
He's a jerk. Hard Knocks showed he was a jerk.
I just read that when former Texans coach / GM Bill O'Brien fired people over the years, he did so with so many F-bombs and orders to get the F out of the building immediately, per sources. But that wasn't how he.
How did he ever coach college kids at Penn State? Even though he did a very good job at Penn State in 2 years, and if he would have stayed there a couple extra years, they were going to be really dangerous.
He really saved Penn State after.
He did.
Paterno.
Maybe they needed somebody like that at that time, but
yeah, I don't know. But I can call the Dolphins a winner for the Houston Texans losing because each week the Texans lose, the Dolphins win.
It's very true.
Who own their first and second round pick next year?
Very true.
So.
We got 2 Monday night games tonight, and one's actually already kicked off.
New England Patriots, for the first time in 19 years, are double-digit underdogs.
No Cam Newton.
No Tom Brady.
No Tom Brady.
That's the denominator there. Brian Hoyer getting the start for the New England Patriots because Cam Newton is on the COVID list. When can he come off? Can he technically play on Sunday?
I don't know yet because I thought it was like 10 days.
It's a tough game to pick.
So if it was just on Saturday for 10 days, he can't play.
He couldn't play.
I doubt he plays Sunday.
I can't imagine he does either.
Hope he doesn't. I need all the hope I can get.
But yeah, they are just kicked off. I don't know a score yet. I can't imagine there's a score.
I hope New England's winning like 14-0. Now I need to go take a shower because I feel dirty saying that.
On their own 17-yard line.
Yeah, Kansas City hasn't scored yet. So
they forced a punt. Oh,
all
no.
Right.
I think Kansas City's on New England's 17-yard line.
Oh, great.
That up. That's definitely what happened. Well, Patty Mahomes is already 4 for 6, 58 yards.
Wish I could say it surprised me, but how about the second game tonight?
We have the Green Bay Packers the Atlanta Falcons at the Green Bay Packers. I think Green Bay rolls. They were my 14-point confidence game.
I had them for 12.
Which leads me to, unfortunately, Tanner winning the belt once again.
The belt stays home. I told you all year long, staying home.
For the last possible week, it's staying with Tanner, not home.
The champ is here again.
Champ is here. We have 2 byes this week, though. The Detroit Lions and the Green Bay Packers are on bye, first bye weeks of the year.
I will say this week in Pick'em was weird because we both didn't get any points for the Titans-Steeler game.
I had the Titans for 2, so that didn't really crush me.
I think I had them for 6. I think.
So it hurt you more than it hurt me.
But going into tonight's game, I was beating you points-wise, and we both selected the same team. So,
and I think if we both win, I would have lost by 2 points. Is that correct?
Correct.
So it was awfully
198
close.
If we both win.
Yeah, it was awfully close. But Tanner squeaked it out. But let's go through and pick the Week 5 game starting Thursday night in Chi-Town. Also, I have to give a shout out to the Colts for how well they played.
Their defense.
Defensively yesterday. The Bears were the worst 3-0 team I've seen since the Dolphins in 2013. And I wouldn't be surprised if the Bears end up at like 5-11 or 6-10. I just don't think
they'll be looking for a quarterback next year.
Ball team. But anyway, Tampa Bay goes on the road to Chi-Town Thursday night. Who you got?
I got Tampa Bay. Big old 14-pointer.
I have Tampa Bay going into the Monsters of Midway for 8 points.
Yeah, if that backfires on me, that's going to put me in a big hole. after Thursday.
You'd only be 6 points down.
Yeah, that's true, I guess. But I didn't look at it that way.
Carolina at Atlanta.
Tough game to pick, especially because I want to see what Atlanta does tonight. Because they got to start playing desperate.
I think Dan Quinn could also be one of the next in line on the chopping block.
Yeah, but I'm going to take the Panthers on the road.
I keep picking Atlanta to win, and I'm doing it again. I have it for 5.
I have the Panthers for 2.
Buffalo at Tennessee, if it's played, would not be surprised if it's pushed to maybe even Tuesday, just to give it more time, or if it's just canceled altogether. Don't know how they do it if it's just canceled altogether, because it's far more difficult to make up football games than it is during the Major League Baseball season for baseball.
They should have built in 2 bye weeks for every team.
Absolutely. Colossal failure by Roger Goodell once again. But who you got?
I got the Bills, but for 1 point.
I have Buffalo Bills as well. I have it for 2. I think they're playing as good as any team not named the Kansas City Chiefs or Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah, I'd bump them over the Ravens right now.
Yeah, I would too.
I'd say they're playing better in Seattle.
Josh Allen has thrown or has scored 37 touchdowns to only like 2 picks in his last 14 games or something.
He's a good one
like that. The Las Vegas Raiders at the Kansas City Chiefs.
Chiefs for 15.
I have the Chiefs for 13. Of course, we don't know how they're going to play tonight. I assume they're going to win against New England. No,
still wouldn't change my pick.
Wouldn't change my pick even if they lost, because I just think they're that much better than the Vegas Raiders. Colossal disappointment over the past 2 weeks. Arizona Cardinals, who I was real high on after their first 2 weeks, and now I'm less high on, traveled to the listless New York Jets.
Speaking of a coach that should be on the hot seat,
Adam Gase should be one of the next on the chopping block.
That was kind of a bucket of yours last week, which you still need to do one, by the way.
Thank you.
You thought if they lost to Denver, which they did, that he would be gone. I thought he was gone after Thursday night. I'm like, he's gone tomorrow, and it's Monday, and he's still here.
Yeah, he might just last the whole year.
No way.
I can't imagine. Way. Who knows, though? I will give myself a shout-out. I did get my bucket correct last week. Major League Baseball playoffs, I said at least one series in both leagues where the higher or lower, whichever one to look at it, seed would win.
I just had a stat come across my phone about the Seahawks because we were just talking about them. They're the only team in the league to give up 400 yards every single game.
They have the worst defense in football, and they're sitting here at 4-0.
Because their offense is really good.
An amazing quarterback.
And a beast of a wide receiver.
Yes. I'll talk a little bit
about it. But it's just so weird. They used to be all defense, little offense, and now it's kind of like the Colts. It used to be all offense, no defense. Now they've kind of flipped things.
Who are you taking, Cardinals or Jets?
I got the Cardinals for 8.
I have the Cardinals for 4. I'm less confident in this than I was.
I almost wanted to go with the Jets.
I did
really
too.
Low, but
I did too, but I didn't. Philadelphia Eagles at the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are on bye this week because of the Tennessee Titans transgressions.
The battle for Pennsylvania.
Yeah, they are both in Pennsylvania, aren't they?
Yes. Eagles' offensive line is not good at all. The Steelers have the best pass rush in the NFL.
Yeah.
Give me the Steelers for 9 points.
I also have the Steelers for 9 points. I keep harping on Carson Wentz, and I don't feel like doing it, but people know my thoughts on him. Los Angeles Rams traveled to our nation's capital and play the football team.
There you go. They only took it 3 times. Give me the Rams for 13.
Rams underwhelmed in their performance against the Giants on Sunday, but I think they come out fired up and beat the football team, and I have them for 14.
Yeah, I think the football team's going to be looking for a quarterback in the offseason.
I wouldn't be surprised if they switched to Alex Smith sometime. I don't know.
He deserves it.
I don't know why they would, because you've got to know what you have in Dwayne Haskins, and they're clearly not going to be a playoff team, so I don't know why they would.
Yeah.
The Cincinnati Bengals traveled to my least favorite city in the U.S., Baltimore.
That's not high praise at all.
My least favorite city I've ever been to in my life. Sorry to anyone that lives in Baltimore.
I've heard that from a couple people, so you're not the only person I've heard that from. But it's amazing what one player can do as far as an enjoyment factor of watching a football team. I like watching the Bengals every week now because of Joe Burrow.
And then on the other side, you have Lamar Jackson, who also brings lots of joy.
But give me the Ravens for 11.
I have the Ravens for 15. I just think they get it done pretty handily this weekend.
Yep.
The Jacksonville Jaguars against an interim-led Houston Texans. Don't know who their interim is.
Nope. Gotta think Houston's got to get it done this week.
Yes.
If they don't get it done this week, then, yeah, I don't even know what to say about them. But Gardner will keep the Jaguars hanging around. It'll be closer than it probably should. But I like the Texans, but only for 3.
I like Houston for 7. Deshaun Watson's really regressed. I think that has a lot to do with who his head coach was.
He kind of got paid.
Yeah, he got his money too. But give me Houston. I think they finally get it done this week. The Miami Dolphins travel to San Francisco. We don't know who the quarterback's going to be. Who was Mullen?
He got benched for
Did he get
Beathard,
benched?
and Beathard played way better.
So we might see C.J. Beathard.
I think Jimmy might be back.
He might be back. He was staying on the sideline last night. They have so many injuries on defense.
Kittle is back. Samuel's back.
Kittle was unbelievable last night. I think he had 15 catches.
You can't stop him.
And Dolphins have had trouble. Doesn't matter who their coach is. They've had trouble guarding the tight end.
I feel that pain.
We don't know who the Dolphins quarterback's going to be yet.
Nope.
I'm sure it'll be Ryan Fitzpatrick, but Flores was kind of non-committal today. Dolphins played the worst defense in the NFL in the Seattle Seahawks. Only scored 1 touchdown. It was garbage time touchdown. They kicked 5 field goals. They had long drives all day. Couldn't punch it in the end zone. I think it's time to make the switch. I think one more loss and we will absolutely see the switch. However, I think the Dolphins go into Santa Clara and win. I don't know why I picked them. I just have a feeling it's going to happen with how banged up the Niners defense is. Dolphins team plays hard, and I don't know why I feel like it. They've been so close, but I think they go in there and win.
This was kind of a toss-up game for me, but I'm looking at the Yahoo app, and 94.74% of the nation's going with San Fran, and I am going to as well. I'm on record. I'm a big Kyle Shanahan fan. Still mad he's not the coach in Denver, even though I do like Vic Fangio. But I'm going to take the Niners at 5 points.
I have the Dolphins that's my 1-pointer. I don't know why. I just have this weird feeling that they're going to win this week. The Indianapolis Colts, 2 upstarts, I would say. The Colts at 3-1 and the Cleveland Browns at 3-1.
This is a really intriguing matchup. One of the most intriguing ones for Sunday's upcoming matchups.
Mm-hmm.
Colts got a really good defense, but the Browns can put up points. It might come down to the Colts offense versus the Browns defense.
Yeah.
But I'm going to take the home team. I'm taking the Brownies for 4.
I'm taking Cleveland for 3. We've been pretty similar this week.
Yeah, there's a couple early on that are going to
but yeah, I think it would be so Cleveland to fall flat on their face at home against a team I would say they probably should beat.
Well, they're going to be feeling high.
However,
so
I do have a stat. Home teams this year are 29-31-1. No fans.
No fans makes a big difference.
Last year, however, the win percentage of home teams is only 52%, 130-120-1. Year before, though, it was 60.6%. 152, 99, and 2. The year before, home teams were 143 and 108. And the year before that, 16, 145, 106, and 1. Could the lack of fans really be hurting the home teams this year? I would say absolutely it has something to do with it.
There's definitely some guys, some athletes in general, and you're going back to certain players playing bad in MLB this year.
Right.
Rory McIlroy's been on record on the PGA Tour. Some athletes got to find ways to get themselves pumped up now instead of relying on the atmosphere. So absolutely.
Yep. We have the New York Football Giants at Jerry's World, the Dallas Cowboys.
Cowboys are struggling, but the Giants are just not a good football team, especially without Saquon Barkley. I'm taking the Cowboys for 12.
I'm taking the Cowboys for 12 as well. I can't if they lose to the Giants at home, it could get real late early for Mike McCarthy.
Yeah.
Real late.
They're going to be calling, wishing they still had Jason Garrett.
I know it.
Who is the offensive coordinator in New York.
I can't imagine anyone ever wanting Jason Garrett to be their head coach. They would want him back. The Denver Broncos at likely Cam Newton-less New England Patriots.
Yeah, I don't think Denver's won there, and Foxborough since 2006, I believe. It's been a long time at least. Brett Rippon's probably going to be the starter. Don't think Drew Lock will be back yet. Probably won't even be active. I like their chances better without Cam than if the Patriots had Cam, but in the end, I don't think it's going to matter, and I think the Patriots win, unfortunately. I have 10 points on the Patriots.
I have New England for 6. I think Denver hangs in there.
They got good, too talented defense not to hang around, I don't think. But
yeah, and I just, without having Cam Newton, Brian Hoyer's nowhere.
Oh,
he's just not
he's
that
a whole
good
different
of a quarterback.
set, too.
A terrible Dolphins team went into Indianapolis and beat Brian Hoyer.
McDaniels had to throw out the playbook and
Yeah.
reinstall different plays because you can't read RPOs with Brian Hoyer.
I think New England has too good of a defense to give up too many points to a Brett Rippon led. And Brett Rippon can't throw 3 picks again or they will get demolished.
No.
He was lucky it was the Jets.
You're absolutely right. I can't argue with that.
The Minnesota Vikings, who finally won a game, they're sitting at 1-3, travels to one of my favorite cities in the U.S., in Seattle. A lot different than Baltimore.
I think Seattle wins 7 confidence points.
I have Seattle for 11. Moving on to the Los Angeles Chargers at the New Orleans Saints.
Saints are looking better again. They looked real good yesterday. They did play the Lions, though, but I got the Saints for 6.
I have the New Orleans Saints for 10. Don't really like the way Drew Brees has been playing.
Played well yesterday.
He did against a bad Lions team.
Still doesn't have his number 1 target, but he is regressing. He is regressing, absolutely.
And I really like the way Justin Herbert's looked here of late as well. Played really well yesterday, I thought. And that could put added pressure on Brian Flores to make the switch to a Tagovailoa in Miami. But that'll do it for our Week 5 picks. This will be the J-Man's Bookie prediction of the week. I think my Miami Heat in the NBA Finals go to at least 7 against the Los Angeles Lakers.
That's a bold prediction.
No, it's got to go bold.
I think they got their 1, and I think they lose the series 4-1.
Team fights, though, man. LeBron is soft, yells at his team for quitting, then walks off the court with 10 seconds left.
Yeah.
How does anyone respect that guy? I will never know.
I don't know.
But that is our Week 5 picks. Love football season, and we get to do picks like this.
Makes
you
much
can put
enjoyable.
the belt down now because it's over with.
You need to do the sponsor read.
J-Man's Book It prediction of the week is brought to you by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance Agent Travis Watchering for life, home, auto, renters, business, workers' comp, and farm insurance. Contact Travis 219-869-4561. His email is travis.watchering@infb.com. Didn't look at the paper once.
That's pretty impressive.
Memorized. Scores updates. The Houston Astros are likely going to beat the Oakland A's. They're up 9-5 in the 9th, and they have a couple guys on, nobody out. The NFL game, Chiefs are up 3-0
It's
early.
Only good. Hell in the field goal.
Yeah, Patriots have the ball here. Not driving yet, but keeping it close. It's not over yet like it was last week. I mean, they were so good in Baltimore last week. Trivia time. Russell Wilson became the second quarterback ever to throw for 30,000 yards and run for 4,000 yards in his career. Who was the other quarterback?
Well, there's one guy that came to my mind earlier, but he didn't throw for enough because they didn't throw for a ton back in the day, and I'll tell you that name because I know it's not right. It's Fran Tarkenton. I got another guy in mind, but I don't know if he threw for that many yards. And now I got another guy in my mind. Randall Cunningham.
Incorrect. I don't know if he ran for it.
No, I didn't. I figured he didn't pass for it.
I'm going to go look it up real quick to make sure my source was not...
No, you're probably right.
Randall Cunningham threw for 29,979 yards. He ran for 4,900. He was so close. He was 70 yards away.
I feel pretty good about this week's bogey.
What was your other guess?
Michael Vick.
No. Steve Young.
Oh, my gosh.
Yep.
And he is a definition of a mobile quarterback that you don't think of being mobile, because he absolutely was.
Yeah, he could run a little bit. That was a heck of a guess.
Talk about a legendary quarterback, though. I always forget Steve Young, because he's overshadowed by Joe Montana. I mean, how many legendary Hall of Fame quarterbacks are overshadowed by another quarterback?
Which is weird because Steve Young is still kind of like doing media. Joe Montana is just fighting off home invaders.
Yeah, he is. Then Broadway Joe's out there kissing sidelines reporters.
Yeah, kissing Susie Colbert.
Wrap us up there, J-Man, for episode
Thanks
203.
for watching the Tan and J-Man show live on the ISC Sports Network. That was a fun one tonight. Go buy our merch. Promo code capital TANDJ. You get free shipping on all your orders. And Sunday, October 11th. Have a great rest of the week, everybody, and we'll be back at it next Monday. See ya.